Okay, let's talk about something we've all probably dealt with. If you've ever felt completely drained by someone's constant need for control, you know just how exhausting their little power games can be. So today, we're going to dive into 4 psychological techniques that are designed to help you outsmart a narcissist, protect your own peace, and get your energy back.
I mean, just think about it for a second. That feeling of constantly walking on eggshells, the way you feel so emotionally wiped out after just a simple conversation, it's a very real thing, and it is absolutely draining. This question really gets right to the heart of why we even need strategies like these in the first place.
So what if you could neutralize their tactics without getting sucked into another huge fight? That's the goal here. We're going to explore some subtle but really powerful methods to protect your self-esteem and, take back control of your own emotional state.
All right, first things first, we have to understand what makes them tick. And the single most important concept to grasp is this. Narcissists are literally fueled by your emotional reactions. Your anger, your frustration, your hurt feelings, that's their food.
And this is the absolute key. When you react emotionally, guess what? They've won. They successfully poked you and got the supply they were looking for. So the whole point of every technique we're about to cover is to deny them that reward. That is where you find your power.
With that in mind, let's jump into our first strategy. It's probably the most well-known and, honestly, one of the most effective ways to just disengage. It's called the gray rock method.
The name really says it all, doesn't it? You literally make yourself as uninteresting as a plain gray rock. You become so boring, so unresponsive, that the narcissist just loses interest. Why? Because they're not getting any of that emotional fuel they're addicted to. And this right here really shows the disconnect you're creating. They come at you looking for drama, for a big emotional engagement, for a fight. And what do you give them? Calm indifference. Short, neutral answers. Basically, nothing. You're effectively starving them of what they need.
So, how do you actually do it? Well, you keep your answers to one word if you can. Okay, I see. The key is to stay completely neutral, totally emotionless. Now, they're probably going to get frustrated. They might even accuse you of being cold or weird, and that, right there, is your sign that it's working. You're simply refusing to play their game.
Okay, now, if being a gray rock feels a little too passive for you, our second strategy is more of a proactive approach. It's this fascinating bit of reverse psychology called the controlled choice. It's all about keeping control while making them think they have it.
The concept here is actually pretty clever. You give them a decision to make, right, that totally satisfies their need to be in control and feel important. But here's the trick. You've already pre-selected the options, so no matter which one they choose, it's an outcome that you're totally fine with.
The process is really simple. First, you figure out 2 options that both work for you. Then, and this is crucial, you frame it like you need their amazing advice. This lets them feel powerful, like they're making the final call, and you get exactly what you wanted without a big fight. This is a perfect example of the kind of language to use. Phrasing it this way makes them feel so valued and helpful. Instead of saying, we're doing either A or B, you say, gosh, I'm really stuck between A and B. What do you think is the better choice? It just deflates any potential conflict. It's a win-win.
All right, our third technique. Now, this one can feel a little fake at first, but it is a recognized psychological tool for de-escalating really difficult situations. It's all about using strategic praise.
The logic here is super simple. A narcissist has this very fragile ego that is constantly crying out for validation. And that need for admiration, that's actually a vulnerability. You can use a well-timed strategic compliment to soothe that ego, calm them down, and steer them away from a conflict.
This is a perfect example, especially in a situation you can't just walk away from, like with a narcissistic boss. If they're starting to spiral or get angry, a comment like this plays right into their self-image as a super competent problem solver. It can totally calm them down and redirect their energy.
Now, let's be super clear. The goal here isn't to be phony or to just flatter them for no reason. This is about self-preservation. Think of it as a pragmatic shield that you can pull out to protect your own peace in a tense moment. It buys you time and space.
And that brings us to our fourth and final strategy, which is all about breaking the patterns they rely on. See, if you're predictable, you're an easy target. The key here is to give them an unexpected reaction.
Just look at this comparison. Narcissists study you. They know exactly which buttons to push to get a specific reaction. But when you give them something they don't expect, like silence instead of anger or calm instead of tears, you completely mess up their script. You instantly become a much riskier and way less appealing target.
So, what does this actually look like? Imagine they launch into one of their verbal attacks. Instead of jumping in to defend yourself, you just listen. Calmly, you hold their gaze, you don't even blink. And when they finally run out of steam, you say nothing at all. You just pause. And then you calmly change the subject or just walk away.
Let me be crystal clear about this. This is not weakness. It's not passive submission. It's actually one of the most powerful things you can do. It sends a loud and clear message. Your words have no power over me. It's this incredible display of strength and self-control that will throw them completely off balance.
Now, as we start to wrap this up, it's so important to frame these techniques the right way. This is not about learning how to manipulate a manipulator. It's about empowering yourself to get out of their game entirely. And this quote right here just says it all. The ultimate goal isn't to win fights or to play some kind of endless psychological chess match. The goal is to protect yourself so you can make clear-headed decisions that create distance and lead you toward much healthier relationships.
Really think of these 4 strategies as a shield. They're defensive tools. They're meant to protect your inner peace and help you start building boundaries, especially in situations where you might feel trapped. They give you the breathing room you desperately need to plan your exit.
So, I'll leave you with this question. Whether it's the gray rock, the controlled choice, some strategic praise, or that powerful, unexpected reaction, think about which one of these feels like it could actually work in your situation. Because taking that first step, well, that's the beginning of you reclaiming your power. Thanks for tuning into this explainer.